On this week's episode of your weekly fitness pizza podcast with Pineapple, we have Rick, who's going to talk to us about some mental health. We're going to talk about dogs, and we're going to talk about, we didn't mention we're talking about karate, but we can.
If you want to, yeah.
Karate. And we've also got love of nature and some other good mindful tricks that we're going to maybe talk about.
Yep.
And obviously, a load of CrossFit.
Yeah, probably.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be a fitness podcast. No.
Yeah.
So in a year, you're going to be retiring.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. From the emergency services or from a stressful job. And then, like, what is it you're hoping to have built within this year to help you with your retirement? What's your passion piece?
My aims this year is to build a business for myself, mental welfare coaching, hypnosis, hypnotherapy as well. So I can, part of the mental welfare is what I've been passionate about all my life is fitness, nutrition, and then working into the brain as well to prevent anxiety, stress, and stuff like that. It's preventing burnout, basically.
Right.
And PTSD.
And PTSD. Okay, fine. And when you sort of looked at all of that, you've obviously had experiences with that as well.
Yep.
And, you're also a dad as well.
I am. And that's one of the issues. Both my daughters, through COVID or pre-COVID, one of my daughters was had severe anxiety, stopping her go to school. And at that time, I didn't have the tools. I could understand what was happening. I coaxed her through it, but I didn't have the tools to help her and deal with her. So that's part of my mission, was to then go away and learn about it. When the opportunity to become a mental welfare coach, I sort of embraced it really, so I could learn about what was happening within her, and then to help my other daughter then now going through her GCSEs, and just to ease that process going through.
Yeah. I suppose when you become a dad, you don't get all the tools, especially when they're younger, and then when they get older, everything adapts and changes.
And the anxiety suddenly came in, and you're dealing with a child that doesn't want to a young adult that doesn't want to go to school. You can't pick a 16-year-old up and dump her in school. That's, they're young people. So it's having to get the tools to deal with that. But obviously at the time, all I could do was reassure and coax her, and I tried to find out as much as I could.
Yeah.
But since I've done the course, I've got a lot more skills and things to put into place if people have anxiety.
Great. And doesn't that also kind of it must be fun learning something at this point when you've got like a reason, why you want to learn and do something.
Yeah. Not only that, people at work, stressful job in emergency services, and they've had to cope with things in their life. And for some reason, I seem to be a sounding board. You're generally out with a partner in a van all the time. So you're having one-to-ones with people all the time. And then again, sometimes you can just be there for the ear, if you like, and just let them sound off. But then sometimes you think, I wish I could help. And again, this has helped with friends and family. So it's been quite good.
Yeah. No, I do totally know what you mean. Like when you're at work or when you're at the gym or something, you're often like, part of why I like going to CrossFit for gym wise, or why I like my job, is sometimes that, you have people to sound off on, and like you have that natural reaction, like interaction with people. Yeah. And we obviously get that quite a lot down at New Wave. I think that's how we ended up meeting, was through our CrossFit gym. So tell me a little bit about, though, before we jump into the mental health stuff, because I want to make sure my cameraman's here and I don't miss any of it. But tell me a little bit about your fitness journey over your life. Obviously, you had to be fairly fit for your work, but would you say that that's, as a dad, think of it from a dad, how would you judge your fitness through your life?
It's been up and down. I was super fit as a teenager.
Right.
I did karate. I did all sorts of sports, but then honed in on karate. I was training 7 nights a week, just constantly training and working on a building site. So it's just fitness.
Oh, wow.
Super fit. Then I joined the army. Again, that fitness held me in good stead. I became a unit PTI, so I sort of exercised my unit to come out on runs and stuff like that, and learnt a lot about physical exercise. And that was my interest in anatomy and physiology.
Okay.
Then joined emergency services, married, have children, and that sort of just impacts your life, because looking after the young ones, don't have so much time for yourself. So probably 10 years, I've gone on a downward spiral. And then after probably about 5 years ago, when I joined New Wave, about 5 years ago, I suddenly realised that I'm getting a bit overweight and getting unfit. Just walking up the stairs, you're getting a bit out of breath. So a friend then started going out for runs with me, or encouraged me to go out for runs. And then it was I joined New Wave twice a week. It's a CrossFit gym. worked out there. And then when COVID hit, they put us together with people to run. I don't know if you're part of that scheme or skipping or stuff like that. But every week they'd partner you up with other people to run.
Yeah.
And one of them I still go running with every week now. We just
Great.
sort of go and just talk a load of waffle with each other. But so that's still good. So that's a really good thing. So my fitness has gone up and down. I'm nearly 55 now, so my fitness is quite good now for what it was.
Yeah.
But it's still not a young 20-year-old. You still start doing workouts and things, and then halfway through you think, no, I haven't got it still.
Yeah.
But that's what it's all
But
about.
it's amazing. Like, so how on earth did you bring yourself to join something like New Wave? Because for a lot of people out there, maybe listening and like watching, like they might think like, how on earth would you suddenly decide to join a CrossFit gym when you?
Well, as an unfit squaddy,
Yeah.
I used to call a beasting session. If I ran a PT session, it would be a full-on beasting. You're in for an hour.
Yeah.
You're beasting, then they're out, and then they do their day's work.
Yeah.
And that's what I enjoy. Just to get in, work really hard, and get out again.
Right.
And that's how I've always done my exercise.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
And then just somebody at work, she was stiff, walking around, going, "Oh, I went to CrossFit." I was like, "Oh, what's that then?"
Yeah.
And she told me it was a New Wave at Cobham, and literally just round the corner from me. So I thought, I'll give it a go. And it's exactly what I like. It's just go in for an hour, beast yourself, and encouraged to get absolutely worn out, and then come out again. So that's how I like to train. So it's just that's how I got suckered in, really.
Good. And then over the time, it naturally, like, you just built up, your fitness came back.
Yeah.
And as you say, by that point, you were then able to go running with somebody during lockdown.
Yeah. I mean, the fitness, I've been really cautious that I'm an old boy now.
Yeah.
So I'm not piling on the weights. It's just slowly improving. But in the last year, I've noticed the difference. I'm not scaling so much, and sort of actually doing good technique and putting a bit of weight on now. So it's a good journey.
Fun, isn't it? Did you do the Open this year?
No,
next year. We'll
Maybe.
get you doing the CrossFit Open next year.
Maybe. Well,
No,
I've got no excuse next year because I'm retiring. So
true. Very true.
I'm always working.
I was trying to do the Open this year, and then I think this year was going really well, and then got injured right in the middle. Oh no, I got COVID. Yeah, that was it. Caught COVID and it wasn't even a COVID year this year. So no, I actually got COVID and I got sick. Yeah, that was a good one. But other than that, I was really hammering it. I think that's possibly why I got so sick, was because I was like pushing it really hard.
The whole CrossFit journey at that time, it was just, you would go in and you think they've stepped this up a bit.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
You've gone and set yourself a challenge to learn a new skill. So what's that all about?
Yep. I'm only 55. I'm lucky enough to retire next year in March. So I've given myself a year lead in. I've learned mental welfare coaching, hypnosis, to step into a new business. So I'm slowly building my business up.
Yeah.
It can either be for a one-to-one, so helping people get better, or going into companies and making them aware of what the mental welfare issues are, to promote staff, to make a better workforce, a more productive workforce.
And stop, which you were saying we were going to look to stop burnout.
Yeah, stop burnout.
And what other tools could you like help people, or do you think you might be able to help people with? Like,
so I mean, part of the mental welfare package is nutrition, exercise.
Okay.
So just making people aware of what they're eating, exercise. If you're not doing anything, just sort of how to start moving, just moving better.
Yeah.
If you're training in the gym, how to train better, to make sure you're hitting the targets you want to hit.
Brilliant.
So yeah, and then just getting out into nature and just sort of living a normal life and how we're meant to be.
That's quite funny that you put it like that. So the way I sell my like online coaching and stuff is more like fitness, and then mental health is kind of the bonus bit on the back. Yep. And you're doing it the same way, but you're doing mental health with fitness as a bonus. So I think generally like... No.
I say it's all equal.
Yeah.
Because it's no bonus. If you eat better, exercise, that's sort of a good way of releasing all the stresses.
Right.
And then with the hypnosis or NLP sort of stuff, you can then just clear the mind.
Okay.
And then without all the stresses, you can then just rebuild and be better, and eating better and exercising. It's just a constant cycle, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose, yes, that's incredibly right. I think the bit I was trying to say is I think a lot of people think they've got to go to a personal trainer to get fit.
Yeah.
They've got to go to a nutritionist to get the nutrition advice, or they've got to read a cookbook like, 5-2 or something like that. Yeah. And then they also got to see their psychiatrist or their counselor, or, they don't realize that if you put all of that in one place,
Yeah.
and just deal with a good coach, you know, we're all trying to get the same pieces
yes.
of the puzzle fit together
Yep.
to hopefully break away from where the world seems to be going, or most guys and ladies and everyone seems to be going, which is a lot of people are starting to get quite lost, wouldn't you say?
And they're promoting it's quite divisive. You know, do exercise, it's going to make you better.
Right.
Eat well, it's going to make. But it's all one. So if you look at it all together, I mean, I'm not going to promote. I'm a PT instructor.
Yeah.
I have done it in the past, but I can get you going. Look for your targets and have ideas how to get those the best way.
Yeah.
And then pass them on to people like yourself. Yeah. If you want a PT, go to yourself or go to CrossFit. And nutrition likewise. I've got people I know who I can send them to that are good, well-established nutritionalists.
Yeah.
But I can give you the basics to start educating you and get you going. And once interest is there, people find out for themselves.
Yeah, very true, very true. And like also, I think look, if you're lost and like say you're a bit depressed and you know you've got a bit overweight or you've like let yourself go, I think one of the best things to do is you don't need to be a PT to help. You know, they may need that mental health bit more.
Yeah.
But once they break down all of that with you and it gets them moving, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I think that's where you need every little bit of the puzzle to go together. No?
Most definitely, yeah. I mean, you cannot be depressed in a gym because if you're functionally physically moving, your posture's correct. You never see a depressed person who's standing correctly. But it's all in the posture.
Right.
So if you're standing properly, you're never depressed in the gym because you've got focus.
Okay.
Your posture's good.
Yeah.
And you're working out.
I mean, I'm always depressed in the gym.
Well, you get depressed after because you haven't met your gains. But But not while you're doing it, you're buzzing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got the joke there. Yeah. I mean, normally when I'm down, and I'm looking at some of these muscle ups and things like that, and I'm like, I'm just useless at this. But no, I do know what you mean. Yeah, I've never really thought about it that way. So what you're saying is that like another physical trigger to the body, a bit like NLP, I think you know, not neurolinguistics, but more like physical anchoring training and stuff like that, is that in a kind of way, actually, sorry, you're making me think. Do you remember the old fake it to make it?
Yeah.
They're like, if you're going to the gym, you put good posture on, you learn to engage your core a bit better. That kind of physically drags you out of a bit of a depression, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking to a boxer yesterday, and he was saying like, also like when he's sparring, he's in his happy place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always done fitness from a very young age, and that is my happy place. And fitness is proved it produces endorphins. You go for a run and you sort of start feeling happy. It just gets the blood pumping and the brain thinking, and you're focused on something you enjoy.
So just play with me here for a bit, right? Because I know you're getting good at this now. If you were so I tell everybody at home all the time, I'm like, look, go to the gym, eat better, look at your mental health, like try and listen to some good audio books or like listen to like other people's advice around you and reach out and find a coach. But also like tell some other dads out there or like, you know, what you might want to say to a dad that had got lost, you know, or like what sort of, you know, like.
But yeah, for the dads that got, I mean, we're already fit. We're on that journey anyway.
Yeah.
We're on that journey anyway. So we're already motivated. But if you're not fit, then just get out and go for a walk. And I've done some Instagrams this week. Get out and go for a walk. Get out and go for a walk in the woods. Yeah. Because there's so many more benefits, and the things you suddenly see are just so inspirational. So if you can just move, get off the bus stop earlier. Yeah. Take the stairs, not the lift. Just an extra 2 minutes a day exercise will start you moving. So it's not a case of you have to go to the gym. It's a case of just move. So
just move.
Just move.
Just move.
And,
see?
Yeah. But then also the nutrition side, I didn't appreciate until doing all this stuff that feeds your brain as well. How your gut and what you're eating feeds the nervous system, which then feeds the brain. So all the rubbish we eat all the time, that's not good for the brain, for positive thought, positive thinking. So a healthy diet, so to cut out the fast food and the sugars, and then I've been doing it since Christmas, and I just feel so much better in my life. And I work 24-hour shifts. So
it's quite so convenience food is quite easy for you. You're in the van, you're in the car, you guys pull over, get petrol or whatever, and it's just like there is quite a problem in this country with convenience food.
Yeah, I work in central London, and sometimes I work 18-hour days, and the only time you can quick snack is just a quick kebab or something like that. It's
Right.
but that's not really good for you.
So what have you done then? So go on. So what have you done since January to try and beat those quick snacks?
Fresh foods.
Right.
I'm an extra bit of time in the morning. Although I get up at 4:30 in the morning, I make sure now I've got salad in the fridge. So I aim to eat more than 7 fresh vegetables or fruits.
Yeah.
Try and cut out as much sugar.
Yeah.
Last week I was night duty for a week, 7 nights. The 6 nights of those, I was eating biscuits in the office, and I was just really bad. And I've done a lot in the daytime, wasn't sleeping well. So the Sunday, I thought I'm going to give a 24-hour fast a go. I've read about it, I've learned about it, and I've done a bit of it before. So I really ate well, proteined up on the Sunday, and then 7 o'clock Sunday evening, I went to work, and I didn't eat for 24 hours. My wife thought I was silly, but it got to, and after 17 hours, your dopamine levels are meant to reset. And I sort of understood that when I listened to the whys and wherefores. But after 24 hours, the first thing I had was a grape, and that tasted so good. So 24 hours of not eating, you're like, oh, that's amazing. So it sort of resets what you think's good. And I've had no sugar since Sunday as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
And even I went to CrossFit midday today. I last ate at 8 o'clock last night. And I haven't eaten anything.
Yeah.
And I went to CrossFit and I didn't sort of run out of energy. So
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Because you're eating better. The energy levels are better rather than the quick fixes of sugars. And
the spikes and the troughs, definitely. And there's a lot of information out there at the moment now that says that, like, you know, to and fro intermittent fasting, that like actually a natural fast for like 15 hours isn't, yes, it is a fast, but it's not, your body doesn't suddenly lose glycogen.
No.
Like, and you don't start burning fat within the fat burning zone.
No.
Like if you just don't eat for 15 hours. But I think for your gut and your mental health, it's really impressive. And also a lot of people do say that fasting, if used as a calorie controller, so say you're in a really bad place with your diet and you really have to rein in your calories and you only have a limited amount of calories to eat, for mental health people as well, if you want to try intermittent fasting, it's not because it burns more, it's because it reduces your window of eating. So if you've only got 2,200 calories and you know that you can eat that in one go, then eat one meal a day, because it might be easier to control those urges.
So I don't really agree in counting calories either.
No.
It's like, from what I've learned in the past year, all your fresh fruit and veg, they're free. Just have many of them as you can. And that's what's filling me up. Proteins. And some carbs, healthy carbs.
So that's almost like Weight Watchers, I think. Not that I've ever done
sort
it,
of,
but I heard it's like
that. But if you're eating the right foods, then so cut out everything white, basically. So white bread, white rice, white potatoes, because they send your glycemic index right up.
Sure.
So if you cut them out, then you're stabilising the glycemic index. If it's not peaking and troughing, you're going to get an even flow all the way through.
Even keel.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, whatever works, generally.
Yeah.
I think I'm not going to stick I do agree with you. I think whatever does work. If it's working for you, that's the most important thing.
But what I'm saying is with the fasting, if you're eating properly without the spikes, then it doesn't affect your hunger cravings, if you like. I mean, I found out before I was fasting, if I have more protein and less rubbish carbs, like bread and stuff, then I'm less hungry for longer, and I don't have them dips in cravings.
Oh yes, no, 100%. I do totally agree with you on that.
It's sort of how your diet is made up to help you lose weight as well. Yeah,
no, entirely. Yeah, I do promote a high protein diet. So I do promote, like decent carbs. Yeah, definitely. I just know that obviously, and this is obviously when you're trying to change your diet and get into a weight loss situation. Obviously, once you're a bit of perhaps an athlete, or once you're trained down more, eating white rice or something isn't going to make your head explode.
No, that's right.
But as you know, you can do it good for a couple of days, but then those biscuits at work, they always creep back in.
It's when you've done that long day and it's like you haven't eaten all day and you just think, oh, I could just have a biscuit. But and that's when it creeps back in. So you've got to be strict with yourself as well.
Yeah. And so anyway, so tell me, so we talked about diet, that's good. Tell me a little bit more about, I think we were touching on how your mental health training is going to help people, and why did you want to suddenly start helping people when, again, you could be out playing golf or walking the dogs or
Because of friends and family.
yeah.
I've had friends with issues and family with anxiety issues, and it's just the tools to help them. And
Okay.
I've always been a helper,
Yeah.
and trying to get the best out of anybody. So it's just another step to help, and it's something I can do. I don't have to do it full time, so it's more of an interest hobby that I'm enjoying rather than a job I have to go into, if you like. So it's
Great. And so come on then, like let's make it a bit more factual. Let's say, for example, like our cameraman might have anxiety about, like a big life decision or something coming up. What sort of is it like I always look at things like rational behavioral therapy or trying to break down a situation and listen to your rational mind versus your insane crazy mind that's like the insane crazy mind that's like, oh, I'm gonna everybody hates me and I'm so horrible and blah blah blah. And then you've got your other mind that's like, well, hold on, they're probably busy, they probably didn't get back to me because they're busy, and they'll probably get back to me tomorrow. So what sort of, give me like, put you on the spot here, give me like 2 or 3 top tips for like reducing anxiety by Rick's coaching.
Well, Rick's coaching. If it's a person or a thing, then you can distance yourself a bit from it. And then if a person's really upsetting you, just picture them in your mind. And then draw a Mickey Mouse face on them, big ears, and just think of them as a funny character, a cartoon character, if you like. And then with a funny voice as well, so a stupid cartoon voice.
Okay.
So you're sort of taking the seriousness out of whatever situation it is, and however that person makes you feel, it shouldn't be. So if you're imagining them as a silly cartoon character, talking like Mickey Mouse, then that makes more light of it. But also, if it's more issues, my daughter's got the GCSEs at the moment. You're very focused on the paperwork you've got at the moment or the computer screen, but you just pull yourself back. If you make yourself more aware of what's around you rather than what's directly in front of you, the stress reduces.
Okay.
So just taking in your surroundings, which is why going out into nature is so good, because there's so much around you that you're looking at.
The bigger picture.
Yeah, rather than just focusing on the problem that's in front of you.
Yeah. Or like the kind of phrases like, the problem that you've got today won't be a problem in 6 months.
Yeah.
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 Or you don't like that one? No,
it's good. It's good, but you tell someone with anxiety that, and then they're going to go, oh, it doesn't matter now. But so you've got to take them out of that situation there and then.
So take them out physically, take them out of the situation.
Well, my daughter had quite serious anxiety pre-COVID, and she'd have sort of panic attacks in her bedroom. And what I try and do is get her out. First of all, get her downstairs, which became an issue, but then get her upstairs to remove herself from the room. And I've always done that with my job as well. If people are having stress, panic attacks, members of the public, just taken to a different scenario, different air, different breath, different sort of life, living things going on. And my daughter, once she'd calmed down, she'd enjoy going for a walk with me.
Oh, nice.
So, go out walking the dogs, and then she'll go, oh, can we go to Ockham, which is another hour away? But I love walking. So it's like, well, if I can make you better, let's go. So we'd be out for nice walks, and then we get back from that and she'd be as good as gold again. But it's just taking yourself out of that situation and literally moving yourself from a room if you have to.
Wow.
It helps.
Yeah, I think obviously I naturally use my fitness like that and probably every day. Like I have to do something of some sort, whether it's cycle, run, or CrossFit class, or even if it's I've got to go tidy the garden, I'll still find that half an hour. And if I do get caught up in too many meetings or too much in town or whatever, and then I find you see it creeping back in. And I totally do agree with you. If you're getting a bit of anxiety and then you compound that with caffeine, sugar, TV, scrolling, then you're just going to be completely gone from it all. Tell me a little bit about hypnosis, because obviously maybe when those of you in the UK who we might remember what was his name? It wasn't Paul McKenna.
It was Paul McKenna.
It was Paul McKenna.
Darren Brown as well.
Darren Brown. Yeah, but I thought Darren Brown was more literally like mind altering stuff.
Yeah.
No. Okay, fine. So you've obviously got your sort of circusy. It's not a word I mean to use, but you know what I mean. You've got that kind of. But then you've also got it as a tool for mental health. So say, for example, someone at home is watching right now and they think, hypnosis is the work of the devil, or it's completely fake and it's made up by a load of charlatans. Tell me a bit more about hypnosis.
Hypnosis is a belief system. You've got to want to believe in it. There's no secret to it. If you don't believe in it, it won't work. So if someone comes to me with a problem, but I don't believe in hypnosis, then you're not really my customer. But there are plenty of people that do believe in it. But it's just a belief system. And it just taps in. Nobody knows exactly what it is. But you just focus. People say it's a state of focus, or is it a state of unfocus? Because we're always focused all the time. But it's just focusing on something, and then you go into a trance-like state. And the way I've been taught to do it is, after that, just release any emotions, negativity, and that seems to work as a de-stress. Lets the pressure cooker valve go, and lets lots of stress out. And then you can add a bit of suggestion in there, so avoid fatty foods and stuff like that, or put a positivity in there. So if you've left confident, so you'll feel love, joy and happiness. But it's a good way. It's a really, really good tool if you let it go, allow it to work, to cure any stresses, get rid of any stresses, anxieties. It's just such a basic fundamental tool, and it's been around for years. Nobody really knows what it is. Scientists have looked at it in the 50s. It became quite prevalent because all the scientists and psychologists were looking at it. But they couldn't put their finger on what it was, but it has got an effect. If you look at placebo drugs and stuff like that, they still work 30% of the time.
Yeah, they do.
So there's no reason why anything else can't work as well. And if you believe in it enough, then it does work.
Yeah, no, okay.
And it's a way of speaking as well. So partly neuro-linguistic programming, and it's how to suggest things. So if you try something, it will never succeed. If you say you will do something, you will do it. If you try, when your child grows up a bit later, will you do that for me? Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah.
That's a no.
Yeah.
But if you say you will do it, I've got to do it because I said I will do it.
Well, no, I think through my time of having mental health issues and going to different mental health places and stuff like that and having help, I found like I've learning, and I still speak to a lot of good people in the industry, in different industries as well, and I learn that some of the best ways to coach people is the tone at which you ask somebody something, and also the onus, or the instead of me telling you to go for a walk, I may mess this up right now, but it's like, instead of me telling you to go for a walk, I could say what things work for you, and then you say, well, okay, I like going for a walk, and you say, so why don't you try that this week? And then they go, why didn't I try that this week? Whereas I suppose what you're saying is, if you make it an instruction, then people don't necessarily want to. That's right. To follow an instruction.
Or they've got to agree to that instruction to take it out. But if they try to do it, there's a negative tone in there that they've got to get out of. Well, I tried, but it didn't work. Whereas I will do it. There is no get out, no wriggle room, is there? So so in hypnosis. I mean, if you put your arm out, hold your arm out, is this shoulder right? Arm out straight.
This is great.
Right, try to stop me pushing it down, okay? Try as much as you can to stop me pushing it down. Okay? Right, this time, you will stop me pushing it down, okay?
Right.
Will stop me pushing it down.
That's just okay. I love it.
So and that's what the hypnosis does, taps into that subconscious middle bit, your monkey brain, the caveman brain, that just sort of, it's a yes and no thing, really. So it's a 5-year-old child. There's no complications in there. He's just like, you will do this. You can do this. And then just move on from there. I
think, you know what? You're just making me think of this completely random story, but like, I was not very good at doing things like crazy things, because I always so for example, so there's this big rope swing where I go to this dam in South Africa, and I was like 2 years ago, I was like, I am not doing that. It is dangerous. I'm gonna break my leg. I'm not gonna be able to hold on to the rope long enough to swing. And then this year, from all of the changes that I've made to myself, the quitting drinking, the really reflecting on how bad I got last year, how sick I got, I thought to myself, like, I should be more up for doing things and change that mindset in my head, like doing podcasts, filming to the camera, all these things where we push our boundaries. So I literally did. I was like, oh, you know what? and I almost put it on my bucket list now. So I saw it coming. We came around the bend for this at the river on the boat, and I saw the tree, and I was like, you know what, you're going to have to do it this time. And I got up there, and I tell you what, though, I could have done with you then, right? Because it was way higher than I thought it was, and the rope was way, way thinner, and like.
But what a buzz! Did you do it? Yeah.
Yeah, did it. Yeah, did it. Totally missed it all on camera. Like, the wife got me literally just falling in the water at the end, so I could have just jumped. But I did it, and I think it was all mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, come on, let's, like, while we've got some maybe people concentrating on whatever, what can we do to try and, like, change the way people's, like, classic sentences or classic approaches people might have? Like, I can't get off the sofa this week, or I'm too stressed at work.
There is a thought that your subconscious brain, that the monkey bit in the middle, before we spoke, we were still beings and sort of ape men and stuff. But the modern language slows down the cognitive thought, and the brain doesn't really understand negative. So if I can't do it, it's like, well, I won't do it. So it's just changed that verbiage. So I will do it. I don't want to smoke, but it's still got a don't in there. I'll be smoking free. So it's just how you change that voice in your head to a positive sentence rather than any doubt in that sentence. So I don't want to smoke. There's a bit of wriggle room in there. Well, maybe I do, but I'll be smoking free. Yeah. Or I will stop smoking.
What about if I say I'm not a drinker, or so that you can't say I'm not a drinker. You say
but you're already not a drinker.
Yeah. No, but I know, but it's like, oh, I see what you're saying. It's before the action.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know what? I also tried to do that with sugar in my coffee. So I started a diet, and then start the day off, right? You've got to make that decision. Am I going to put almond milk in my coffee instead of full fat milk for the difference of 40 calories over 100 mil, right? You're talking micro fractions of calories. That's it's not the calories in your coffee in the morning that is throwing you off. It's the 4 Kit Kats you have in the afternoon. But I thought also it's the mindset.
Yeah.
The, like, trying the almond milk. Like, yeah, it's not great at first, but then also it's, you know what, but I think it's also like setting up your day in a mindset.
Yeah.
No? So then I'm like, well, I love having a sugar in my coffee in the morning, but I'm just like, you don't need it. And then you know what? And this might now sound a bit weird, but the bitterness of it all, you can turn that bitterness of the coffee, not the bitterness of life hitting you in the face at 7 a.m. that, you still got to get up and do everything. The bitterness can then remind you, and you can program your brain to go, I prefer it this way. No? Or I'm doing something positive for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of sugar.
Yeah.
That's how I've coped with it since Sunday, is it's a poison. I don't want it. Yeah. And I've been with it only a couple of days. Yeah. But I don't feel anything bad from it, so I can continue. That's why I don't want it, because it's bad for me. Right. And I've just convinced myself it's a poison. I did a paleo diet a couple of years ago, so that's cutting out all breads and stuff like that. Yeah. And I just thought of them as poisons. Yeah. So in my head, they're not good for me. I don't want them. And that's how
even bagels.
Yeah, even bagels, even croissants. Croissants are my vice.
Are they?
Yeah. Ooh. But turning down a croissant. I was in a coffee shop this morning, central London, and I was looking at the croissants and the Portuguese tarts. Yeah. I was like, nope, don't need it.
Don't need it. No. I'll just have a slice of apple.
A black coffee. That's all I have.
Yeah. And I'll go. Yeah. Right. And then just randomly, do you ever do any of the hand stuff for people? Say you've got like a really, really important interview coming up, or a big meeting or something like that, and you get super nervous. Do you ever do any of that anchoring? Is it the
EFT,
pinching?
Emotional freedom techniques, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, tapping. Yeah,
what do you call it again? Tell me again.
Emotional freedom techniques.
Okay, and what's that then? For those at home, so tell.
It's tapping, it's a series of tappings, and you're meant to say affirmations as well with it. Yeah. So I love myself. I can't remember now.
I love that one, yeah.
I love myself. I can do this. Yeah. It doesn't bother me. But you tap. They're meant to be meridian points going through your body.
I do that every morning. I wake up and I go, I am a powerful businessman. I will be a successful businessman.
But if you do that with tapping, you've got a point at the top of the head.
I've got to tap my head as well.
Point above the eye, to the side of the eye, underneath the eye, under the nose. And you're meant to go through
all of your meridians.
All your meridians. But then you can, once you find a favourite one. Yeah. I mean, a favourite one is the side of the hand. Yeah. Or just tapping the tops of the fingers.
Okay. But you do see that in kids. Yeah. Like when my daughter used to have a blanket, then she stopped having her blankie, she would still rub her hands together for comfort.
but that is a natural thing.
Oh, okay.
And that's it's partly havening, it's called.
Yes.
It's loving yourself, stroking yourself. And when people are anxious and they're fidgeting, if you get them to slow down, so really slowly stroke your fingers together. And that's just rubbing skin on skin. That's like someone cuddling you. So it's just enjoying and allowing the endorphins of your hands rubbing together and just slowing it down. And it's like a cuddle. If someone cuddles you, it's just nice to be embraced and touched. And it's just slowing down the touch.
Very interesting.
Slows the heart rate.
I like that. Slows the heart rate. I suppose I get that when I like hear that. This is going to sound really cheesy now, but when I like slide on the 15 or 20 kilo plate onto a bar, and then I have that routine before. And again, maybe I should probably get you to try some of this coaching for me on my snatch, because when I have like, you know, people who have a routine. Have you ever seen like power lifters where they like point their toes out and they do that like big up to the sky, and then they come down in the middle and then they do this huge power lift. Yeah. It's like, it's like a kind of,
and that's it. And hypnosis can help with that. Hypnosis, you can go through that routine. You go through every little bit. So that, mark that, right. So lifting the bar to the knees, hips in and all that. So you can mark them and then go through hypnosis and then just turn up that power, turn up that dial. So when you hit that mark, power it up and you're really, blood's pumping through you. And yeah.
Well, we will try that then. We will see in a couple of months when I get some more equipment and many, many more people to help me. We will do a live demo with Rick to see if we can get a 10 kilo increase on somebody's snatch live on Instagram from exactly like the old show we used to watch. The Paul McKenna.
Oh, right,
and he used to do that, right? 15 minutes later, come back and we will show you tonight how these guys will lift up a train.
And it's all positive mind, because you normally fail because you've lifted a couple of weights already, and then that bit of doubt comes in.
Right.
Remove that doubt and you'll keep going.
Remove that doubt and you will keep coming.
You can do it. You will do it. I can do this. Will do this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But then what about practice, though? So you got, I can do this, I will do this, I can do this, I will do this.
So if you have triggers, so as you're walking up to the bar, as you see the bar, you'll go through all the movements in your head.
Right.
And that blood's starting to pump down now.
So the more practice you have, then that comes automated.
Yeah. And that's, so the hypnosis puts them things into place. And then every time you trigger it, every time you see a bar, that blood's going to start, that energy's going to start boosting around you now. And that energy's going to turn up and you're going to think of all them trigger points you've got to hit.
Okay. So I'll give that a go. I'll give that a go. I really like that. Yeah. You never know. You might end up being, in 2 years' time, you might come back and you'll be like freaking Olympic powerlifting coach for, you know, instead of steroids, it's hypnosis now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, lots of top sports people do hypnosis. Lots of boxers.
Yeah. I'm sure lots of people try everything at that level. When you're at that level, if somebody's going to offer you something and you think it's going to make a 0.1% increase in your time or speed. It's
drug free, but if you can have that bit more confidence in doing it, then you're away.
Exactly. Oh, this has been really good, Rick. I was desperate to pin you down for this one, and I wanted to make sure it was one of our early ones, because I think what you're doing is great. Like it, I love some of your content now. It's great. You started off with dad jokes, which I thought was...
Oh, they're on my other channel. Yeah.
Oh, that's your other channel. Fine. And I love that. I was like, I love the way you were like, right, he's going to post regardless. Yeah. He's going to post dad jokes. It's so good. Some of them are absolutely brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My kids hate them.
Yeah? Yeah. I love dad jokes. I love a dad joke. So maybe I'll have to add a dad joke into the podcast each week.
Do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming today. I've really, really enjoyed it. I hope we've covered off everything you wanted to get across.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So just tell everyone at home, nice and clear now, yeah? Where do we find you online?
I'm still building my business. I think the brand name's going to change, but at the moment, rich-coaching.uk on the websites. Right. Or who am I? Rich_coaching_UK on Instagram.
Nice. Good. And then I'll obviously share all that in the bio and all the links and stuff like that. And if you want to get some hypnosis, then that might be fun. Or just some general coaching or some, changing your mindset up. I think, again, one of the most important things about all the things we talk about is that get started, give it a go.
Get moving, get eating, and just get moving.
And then get healthy. Yeah. Because if you sit on the sofa for too long, then I think you do end up becoming a couch potato.
That's a downward spiral,
Yeah. All right. Well, enjoy. See you next week on another episode of the Fitness. No, he messed it up again. Anyway.